This episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. There's nothing sweeter than baking cookies during the holidays. With Prime, I get all my ingredients delivered right to my door, fast and free, no last-minute store trips needed. And of course, I blast my favorite holiday playlist on Amazon Music. It's the ultimate soundtrack for creating unforgettable memories. From streaming to shopping, it's on Prime. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to get more out of whatever you're into.
Hey, I'm Amanda from Trifecta Fitness. We're proud to be Clarksville's new Get Fit headquarters. Trifecta Fitness is a state-of-the-art spin and strength training studio. Our spin studio is truly one of a kind in this area, complete with 20 state-of-the-art live fitness bikes and an incredible sound system. Our strength training is done in small groups of 6 or fewer, and all of our strength and spin classes are scalable for every level of experience. Come see us in the heart of Clarksville, just behind MAPCO at the corner of Old Trenton Road and Wilma Rudolph Boulevard. Call us for more info at 931-542-6265 or download our Trifecta Fitness app for a full list of upcoming classes.
Welcome back. MisFitNation. We are a show founded by veterans and hosted by 2 veterans and a military spouse. Our mission is to get people to tell their story to the world. If you're an author, share your tips with the Misfit Nation. If you're a musician or actor, our audience needs to know how they too can get into the business. Coaches, we love our coaches. Come on and share some of your tips with the Misfit Nation to help them become better versions of themselves. If you are a corporate leader or entrepreneur, come on and share how you did it and how hard you have fought for success. If you are a veteran, first responder, or star family, we'd love to have you come on and just share your story with the Misfit Nation. We always have time for you. If you're feeling down, alone, or starting to see the darkness, stop. Think about those who are around you. You are not alone. You will be missed. If you feel like your problems will be a burden to those in your inner circle or are embarrassed, dial 988. If you are a veteran, take option 1. We need you to keep pushing forward. Don't make a permanent solution to a temporary problem. If you're a new listener, welcome to the Misfit Nation. Be sure to subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast apps and also on our YouTube channel at _MisFitNation. Subscribe, click the bell to keep you up to date with our latest episodes and all of our news. You can also find us on Electrocast Media and About Face Radio. This will keep you tuned in to us and learn about our great guests. All right, welcome back to the Misfit Nation. Our next guest is an author, speaker, businessman, real estate investor, financial advisor. He is a small-time boy who sucked it up and found a way without role models, mentors, and education, and found a way to succeed on the Learn As You Go plan. So without further ado, let's welcome Dennis McCurdy to the Misfit Nation. Welcome, Dennis.
Hey, Rich. How you doing, man?
Great, brother. It's great to have you here, and I really love that the suck it up buttercup kind of the suck it up cupcake mentality. That's something that being in the military for 22 years, we were told to suck it up a lot and drive.
That's right. What branch were you? Army?
I was Army, yes, sir.
Army. Okay, Air Force.
All right, there you go. You heard it too in the beginning, probably.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. Cool.
You're all right. Just suck it up. You'll make it as far as you want to go. So,
there you go.
So, Dennis, I gave a little bit about you, probably 2 sentences there. I know there's a lot more to your life. If you want to share a little more with the Misfit Nation from as far as back as you want to go to how we got to where we are today, that'd be awesome.
Let's see. I was 2 years old. No, I'm just teasing. So when I think that from high school, they basically graduated me because they were sick of me. Actually missed 35 days of school my senior year.
Wow.
Was suspended twice. So I don't know how I graduated, but I did. So I could say I graduated 8th in my class. It was 8th from the bottom. From there, I went in the military, went overseas, came back, and started following that usual, you get the GI Bill, you go to college, and from there you get a job. So I ended up going like a semester, and I ran across a couple guys, friends of mine who were about the same age, who were going to start an insurance company and a real estate business and a building business. And I think, at 23 years old, you can do that. So I like to say it was bye-bye books, hello buildings. I was going to be a real estate tycoon. But that didn't last long. It was the beginning of the 70s recession. Interest rates were climbing. They went from 7 to 8 to 9 to 10 to 11, all the way up to 18%. So we think we have it bad now. It was tough then. The real estate career didn't last long, so I ended up going into the insurance business. A friend of mine who was in that partnership decided he didn't want to do it anymore, so I bought his business out. It was a big business. He was doing $6,000 a year in commission. So basically, I could pay the rent and give myself $50 a week.
Oh wow!
But it was a little bit more than today, $50. But still, it was a tight squeeze. I had a '65 Chrysler that I paid $250 for, and that was my transportation. So from there, I just I took the insurance agency, built it. I started thinking what other things I could do. So I decided to. In the meantime, I was buying real estate, and decided to build houses, flip real estate. And so over the course of my life, I've owned 29 properties, from foreclosures to flips to spec houses to a couple of buildings I still own now after all those years. So it's basically, my attitude has always been, if somebody else did it, so can I, or so can you. And just like you're doing this now, right? If somebody else did it, you just start.
Exactly.
And actually, that's the first chapter of my new book, Suck It Up Cupcake, Stop Screwing Yourself and Get the Life You Want. The first chapter is start.
Perfect.
Because once you get that momentum going, you're going to run into tough times, obviously, but you just need to move forward and keep going and keep trying new things and keep learning. And I think one of the big things is, I still get up. This morning, I was at the coffee shop at 6 o'clock in the morning, reading a book on linguistics and the language, so that I was learning more things. You got to always be learning. I think it was Earl Nightingale that said, formal education will get you a job. No, it was Jim Rohn. Formal education will get you a job. Self-education will make you wealthy.
Right. I think that goes in line with the learn as you go mentality there. You have
Absolutely.
to continue to learn and be a lifetime learner, even if you're not paying someone to learn. It's good to, like you just said, picking up a book on linguistics. Not a lot of people would pick up a book on linguistics, but you're doing it and you're reading a book on linguistics at the coffee shop at 6 a.m. That's another thing that shows that you're pushing forward early in the day to start stacking those victories as your day goes on. And that's a testament to what you've been doing.
Plus, I like coffee, so.
And the line's probably a little shorter at 6 a.m, I guess.
Yeah. I'm the only one. I go to a Panera's sometimes. I go to whatever's open, but I'm the only one there, and they turn their gas fireplace on. I get mad if somebody else comes in. What are you doing in my place?
And we have a Black Rifle coffee place here, BRCC, and
nice.
So we like to go in there and have little meetings with the veteran groups here. And in there's regular tables, and there's 4 cushion chairs to the side. So you always try to get there and get those 4 cushion chairs first.
Right, there you go.
The last time I was there, was a lady just sitting there drinking water, a bottle of water. And I sat at one of the table, I was looking, I said, "What are you doing?" I said, "We're here to drink coffee and hang out and talk to each other. You're drinking water? My gosh." I was so offended.
I know. But getting up there and getting out there in the morning, get going, it's and learning, never stop learning. I'm also a certified financial planner. I used to have a stockbroker's license. I gave that up, and I only do fee basis now. But I learned all that on my own, and it's there, and it's so much easier now because you have YouTube and all these things.
Yes.
It's amazing. I wish I had that stuff when I was a kid.
Yeah. If we had YouTube when we were younger, I think a lot more of our generations would have done a lot more different things moving forward instead of going with the things that you were told were the right things to do.
Absolutely.
I know, like when I was in high school, a lot of people were told business is the only way you're going to be successful if you study business. Study business, study business, study business.
Right.
I just wanted to join the Army, so I was just trying to take shop and everything like that just to get through high school. and wound up having to take a bunch of hard classes my last 2 years to get into college because I was too young to join without my dad's permission.
Right.
So I went to college. I started learning business. I was like, this ain't for me.
Yeah.
And I finally just joined the Army. So I'm gonna grow up and then go to college later. And
right.
So I think that was the best move I made.
And that's the whole thing. It's like I always say, the worst thing you can be in the world is a square peg trying to fit into a round hole. You know, you have to find out what suits your temperament, your overall personality, style, and character, and try to match that as best you can to your occupation.
Definitely, and I think that's where you find your purpose, your passion, and like you did along the way, you found things that you liked, you went for it, and then either it didn't work out and you had to move to something else, or you found a passion for something else and kept moving forward. Some people, they just stay in that grind and say, I'm going to stay here because this is what society or this is what the norm is supposed to be. And they wind up miserable through life.
Right. And a lot of that, is as you well know, we're programmed from the very beginning, from the cradle, basically. And very few people stop to think about, what do I really want? Is this stuff really true? Are there more things I can do? And they need to, basically break out and explore.
Definitely, you gotta try put your toe in different water. So go out there, like you live on the East Coast, you can put your toe in the Atlantic Ocean. If you don't like it, you can go to the West Coast.
That's the beauty of society. Yeah, exactly.
Go to the Panhandle, try to Gulf out.
I don't think I'd go to California though.
There's other ways.
Yeah, you go. Well, my people, my father's side are from Texas. I'd probably go there. So
there you go. You go right to the Gulf there, right off Galveston and all the area there, Corpus Christi. Hang out, and the water's beautiful. It's warm, but it's wherever you go and you like it. That's where your passion is. You don't have to stay where you are and suffer. You could suck that up, or you could push yourself forward and suck it up a different way.
Exactly, because you can make it anywhere, and once you have some basic skills and you have that desire to learn and you're willing to pay the dues. I mean, really, people don't want to pay the dues, and that's what it's all about. And sometimes it sucks, but
yes, sometimes it really sucks, but it's what you do when things suck that sets you apart from other people. So if you get punched in the face, you fall down. If you stay down, you're going to stay down, and that's the person you're going to remember as.
Right.
You're the person that pushes yourself back up and then fights on. That's who you're remembered as.
Absolutely.
So, and that's what I believe I want to do with my life, and I try to push others to do the same. You're gonna make mistakes in life, and we're humans. That's part of life. But you have to find out how to make that mistake make you a better person.
And my philosophy is this: every time you make a mistake, you're worth more.
Right.
Because that's what they call experience and wisdom.
Yes, because you learn a lot from a lot of these mistakes. You learn a lot from, and they could set you back a few steps, but then you just stand up and take bigger steps forward and and do things like you have. I mean, you've done so many different types of things, and some of them kind of cross over in different ways. But yeah, some people wouldn't do that many different things and still be happy. And you were able to cross-reference all that and move forward, and now you wrote a book about it, so that's awesome.
Right. Actually, that's my third book, and I'm on my fourth right now. So
see, there you go. Yeah. The kid who graduated 8th from the bottom of his high school class now is on his 4th book.
Right.
Right there. That's a book right there.
There you go. And by the way, this new book's going to be called Mastermind: The True Secret to Success, because I believe that, as many people have said, it's like who we associate with is so crucial. And finding a support, well, I don't even call it a support group, but finding a mastermind group, a goal buddy, somebody who's going to push you and you're going to push them is absolutely important.
It's great to have your circle, inner circle. That would be your inner circle there. I call them the inner circle. And
exactly.
Some people call their inner circle their friends, but they might not be people that you grew up with. It could be someone that is your best cheerleader, the person that says, hey, you're doing this great, or hey, you really messed that up. You need to try something different. Right. Someone that's going to be brutally honest with you at all times, and you got to be the same to them and give and go, and both of you will be successful.
That's crucial. That's absolutely crucial. I always say you need to have people in your life who are willing to give you that loving kick in the, you know what?
Yes. In the fourth point of contact. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's so true, and it really accelerates your learning and accelerates your growth when you're doing that kind of stuff, because you just skip a lot of the crud, and people who know you because they've been around you for a while can say, hey, wait a second, that's enough of this. We've heard this story too many times. What's going on? What are you going to do? Suck it up.
And what's next? What's your next venture? Don't keep telling me what happened. Tell me what you're going to do to make it better.
What you're going to do. And then come back next week and tell me you did it.
And then we'll say, okay, let's see how this plays out.
Exactly.
Let's see how this iteration of you it plays out, and see if we have to reset again and recalibrate and do things again. So sometimes our calibration's off. You just got to fix it.
Right. And again, every time it's off a little bit, it's called experience.
Yep.
And that makes you worth more.
So through your journey, I'm sure you've had some bumps in the road along the way. What has been your biggest struggle as you learned it on your way up to where we are now?
My biggest obstacle would be me.
You? Okay.
I think I probably get in my own way more than anybody else, which is why again, goal buddies and mentors and accountability is so important, because left to when we're on our own, and when you're the boss, left to your own devices, you're kind of like Putin and that other guy in China. It's like there's nobody telling him, hey, no.
They're afraid to die.
It's a recipe for disaster.
Yes.
And so, yeah, definitely. But I'm my biggest obstacle. I mean, it's always me getting in my own way.
I think a lot of people could say that same thing. A lot of people, their hardhead or their knuckleheadedness will be the one not asking for help, not raising their hand, and say, "Hey, I need help right here."
Right.
That's something that helps a lot of people.
Or their fears,
yes,
which are created by their beliefs, and not having someone, sit them down and say, "Well, wait a second, what is this really all about?" And you've done this and this and this. Why can't you do that? We just get on our own way.
Definitely, and it's across the board. And like you said, fear is a big one.
Absolutely.
Things that people have no idea what they're even afraid of. Someone told them it might be scary, or if they watch the talking heads on whatever news you watch, they're going to tell you something that's going to scare the crap out of you today, and you need to be scared of it for the rest of your life.
Right.
Or you can just not watch it and not listen to them and just try forward.
You're way better off, right? One of the concepts in the book is called WOPT, which I think is the biggest disease that we all have, and that is what other people think.
There it is.
And that crushes us a lot of times, and you see it all the time. I mean, even in the littlest things, and that's what we have to sit down and say. Number one, they probably don't really care what we're doing anyway, but it's again in our own head, stopping ourselves from going forward because we're concerned about what other people are going to think.
Right.
I always like to say, don't try to keep up with the Joneses because they're broke.
Yes, definitely. I had a guest on last year, and she was a personal trainer,
mm-hmm.
and she had a great quote for what other people think mentality. She had a client that was afraid to go into a gym
mm-hmm.
on her own because what would people think of what she looks like?
Right.
She said, "How about you do this? The first day, you pack your bag, you walk in, you check in, go in the locker room, take a shower, and come out. You made it in. The next day, go in, walk around the gym, do and baby steps until you're comfortable. And
right.
Then you're there. And then it doesn't matter what the outside noise is. You're just there. You're there doing the same thing they're doing, sweating,
right,
smelling.
Right. I mean, everybody has to start somewhere.
Right.
And I think if you go to a place like a gym or anything like that, people are going to, if you ask for help, people are going to help you. They're not going to make fun of you. And it's the long run, you're going to get better.
And I'm sure the people there also had that same fear the first time they went in there.
Absolutely.
I'm going to look dumb trying to lift this because I don't know what I'm doing. I just watched this video. I looked in this magazine and looked how Arnold was doing it in his picture. So I'm going to do it that way. And if I lift like him, I'm going to be as big as him. But it's not working. Something's wrong here.
Right. And I think the biggest compliment you can pay somebody is ask them for help.
Yeah, because that means you're watching what they're doing.
Right.
Yeah, I see what you're doing. That seems to be working for you.
Yeah.
Why do you do that way?
Yeah. What am I doing wrong? You know. Yeah. People are always willing to help.
Same thing with guys and cars.
Yes.
Like your first car was a 65, you said, right?
No, mine was a 1964 Thunderbird.
64 Thunderbird. And I bet you were proud to be able to get under, because at that time you can go under the hood and actually see the parts and work on it.
Right. You change the oil, you can do all
change the oil, change the plugs, change the cables.
Right.
And you wouldn't ask for help because a man doesn't ask for help for that stuff. But you'd watch someone else do their car. All right, yeah, I see it. Oh yeah, that's what I did wrong. That's why I'm missing my timing right now. Okay.
That's
I
right.
got this. And that's how you learned, and that's how most of us learned when we had our first cars, through trial and error, cutting our hands open, turning wrenches, and getting it right. And then now it's almost impossible to work on your own car unless you have an engineering degree. But
exactly,
do it. Yeah,
you have to $1 million worth of equipment to do that. You know, it's crazy. But yeah, that's exactly it. But it still applies, fortunately, to other things like, say, business or real estate or any of those kind of things. You know, investing, people can learn that on their own, or they can get help in the process and then go and do it.
Right. I know you said you didn't have mentors or role models, but like you just said, here in the real estate world, there's usually someone that kind of nudges you along and takes you under their arm and says, look, you can work under my my agency until you get on your feet and make your own agency.
Right.
And that's, I mean, it may not be an official mentor, but it kind of the role model for you to look at what maybe is right or maybe what you think they're doing is wrong and kind of deviate away from. Did you have any people like that were able to kind of flex and say, I like how that person's selling, or no, I don't like them going this way?
Unfortunately, the two guys I started out with had been in the business a month longer than I had. So it was the blind leading the blind. You know, it was like three cocky guys that didn't know any better. Just like, you know, when you're 23, 24 years old, you think you know everything.
Oh yeah.
Well, it was us. So.
But you made it.
Yeah. If you hang around long enough, you know, eventually something's going to stick. You know, and again, it's keep getting up every day, keep going to work, keep doing it, keep learning, so that you get better.
Keep putting that effort in and keep getting your name out there. Get your name out there, especially in the real estate world. Once you get names out there and that network grows of people that you've helped, people that you're helping.
Right.
So let's go to Dennis. Dennis is the guy who helped me.
Yeah.
They won't know that you started with zero knowledge with two dudes that you just knuckleheads like you. So
right, exactly. In fact, I actually haven't had I closed my real estate company in 1995 because I was focusing on the financial planning business, but people still think I'm in the real estate business. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's like, okay, whatever.
That's just a few years ago now. It's 27 now.
Yeah.
It's a long time there.
Long time.
But they're still around, and you're still around, so that's a testament right there. And you still can probably say, hey, you might want to go to an agency and do this. But thanks for calling. You need any help with this? Right.
I always tell people I'm always willing to help you. Give me a call if you get stuck, whatever. You know, so I get those calls too. Yeah.
And that always, I think that helps. That helps you and them the same way, because now you know that they still respect you enough to call you and ask for help, and you're able to help them because you probably have some kind of knowledge from all your reading and all your learning as you grew life, that you were able to say, yeah, I know someone that went through that same problem. This is how they got out of it, and this is maybe they'll help you, or maybe don't do it that way, but try this.
Right, and again, it goes back to that experience.
Experiential learning. I think it's the best.
Right. That's why they don't pay. That's why they don't pay the kid right out of college the big bucks, because they have no experience.
Right. But I got this degree, but you've worked at McDonald's for 2 years.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Or there's some kids. I was talking to my dad this morning. There's a guy he talks to that his kid's been in school since kindergarten, now 8 years in college.
Mm-hmm.
Has never worked.
Yeah.
So what do they expect to come out of college and get $1 million job?
Unless you're in medicine, probably not.
I said, 8 years, are they a doctor? He said, no. I have no idea then.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, you got to get that experience in the real world. It's a whole different ball game. The sad thing, I think, is a lot of companies have said, "Oh, you can't come if you don't have a college degree. Don't even bother applying." Well, really? To me, it's absolutely crazy because you're missing. If somebody comes into my insurance agency, okay, and they want a job, I don't care if they got 5 college degrees. I have to teach them everything about what I do from scratch. So degree, no degree. I'm not knocking education because I'm a firm believer in it, but we have to be real.
It's not the be all end all in that. I think that's a main point there. There's a lot of veterans who do 20 years in the military. A lot of them don't have degrees, but they have 20 years of experience.
Right, exactly.
Leading and mentoring others, and they come out and they're told, "Well, yeah, you don't have this degree, so you don't qualify for this job because it's not on your resume."
Right.
They're more qualified than most of your office.
That's it. If I have advice, I'd say become a plumber.
Do something with HVAC. HVAC is probably the best way to go.
Oh, crazy.
Especially like we were talking in the pre-show about how hot it is right now, how early it is and how hot it is. HVAC is the way to be right now, and getting air conditioning going and keeping people cool.
HVAC is just, and HVAC, even HVAC stocks they're probably at a high now, but they've been really cranking the last year or two. So.
Especially when COVID kicked off, stay in your house and keep this closed and just change your vents because the HVAC. So the HVAC had to run all the time, and that kind of helped them a lot.
Right, exactly. And so pretty hot down there in the summer, right?
Oh, very hot, humid. It's lovely.
Yeah.
It's shorts weather for about 8 months a year. So
is it? Yeah. We actually keep our windows open most of the time. I mean, probably July we get about 2 or 3 weeks where we really need the air conditioning, but other than that, it's pretty comfortable.
It's good if you have a good breeze. Where we are, it's either 45 to 70 mile gusts or a gentle breeze. So.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
It's a no in between sometimes. It's kind of weird. It's either dead calm or those two extremes.
Wow. That's interesting. Are you in the mountain area or is that?
No, I'm in a rural area outside of Nashville.
Wow. Nice.
We're kind of becoming, I guess, if they relabel Tornado Alley, it's kind of coming this way now. So.
Is it really moving? Oh, that's not good.
No, it's not good. And we actually get alarms now. So, I mean, I'm used to it. I lived in Kansas for a while. So I understood that I moved there from here when we didn't have any here. And I got out there and didn't have any there. So I guess I was the good luck charm out there.
I was going to say, maybe it's your fault. Yeah.
It's all my fault. I didn't get any emergencies while I was out there.
Yeah. So the other thing I wanted to mention is that besides, I think mastermind is crucial, is I think a lot of people, and I'm a firm believer in setting goals or figuring out what you want, figuring out what fits you, and then starting small. Because I think people tend to do this all or nothing, and I'm not in favor of this, like, only have a plan A, burn the bridges. I think that's BS. I think too often when people do all or nothing, they get nothing.
Right.
So better to do a little bit every day. So right now I'm editing my new book, which I don't like to do, but I set a goal. I do 15 minutes a day and I have a little calendar and I check it off. But at the end of 6 months or a year, you got 97 hours of doing that.
Yeah.
So, and I figured if somebody says, "Oh, I want to write a book," I don't know, I haven't got the time. Well, 15 minutes a day in 3 or 4 years, you got a book.
Yeah.
And if you're 30, that means you could probably do 10 books by the time you're 60 or 70.
Yeah, and I mean, there's some people that I've talked to people that they write 10,000 words in the morning. Yeah. I don't know how you do that, but I never think of the word count really. I always think of me typing and hunting and pecking all the time, trying to do it right. But it's doable.
It is, but the thing is too. It's we always like to say as writers that it's not the writing. Writing's easy. It's the rewriting and editing that's hard.
That's where the headache comes in. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And you kind of go like, I said that. What the heck did I mean by that?
Right. Especially if you wrote it and then have to go and you're going back months later or a year later.
Right.
I remember where I was going with this sentence.
Right. I read sometimes I'll pull out my first book, Find a Way, and I look and I go, I wrote that. So but again, I have a theory called KISSES, KISSES. Keep it small and simple, sustainable, easy, and supported.
Nice.
So
That's nice. Kisses.
Yeah, the supported is kicking the butt from your friends or whoever's in your group.
Definitely, and then the cheerleader when it all goes out comes right at that point. So that's good.
Because there's never a time when, there's always a time when we need a cheerleader or somebody to, for support. I mean, it's just normal.
Yeah, that's life right there, and it's real life, not some of the weird life that we see on the internet, but it's the real life.
I mean, if people have to go back and think about when we were, hundreds of thousands of years ago, when we were in groups of 5 to 80 people, we were pretty much, dependent on everybody around us. But we've gotten away from that. And we need to bring that back.
And that's something we've seen when I was in Afghanistan, the tribal mentality there. So everything is small groups. Yep. So everywhere you went in Afghanistan, there was small, tight-knit family groups, groupings in a small village. They all knew each other, all knew what each other needed, and we're all there for each other. And everyone had a job to do to make the society work.
And it's the same thing. In the Army, you got a squad, you got a platoon. It's a tight group. You're doing, I always tell people, if you're in the Army or Air Force or Marines, you think military. If you're in a gang, you think, unfortunately, a gang. If you're in college, you think like college. So it's that group think.
Right.
So you have to make sure that the people in the group that you're thinking with are good people.
Exactly. And the people you surround yourself with will make you either successful or a failure. If you're, like you said, if you go into the wrong group, you're going to wind up in the wrong, I guess, address later called a prison or something.
Exactly.
Dead. So
yeah.
Hopefully you make the right choice along the way.
Right. I always like to say that, millionaires don't hang around with bums unless they're related to them and it's Christmas.
And then they see them. Yeah.
Yeah. Once a year.
Like, I think Bill Clinton had his brother, Sly Stallone had his brother. So yeah, they all had the one family member that was the bad apple or the one that fell from the tree for early.
Oh, absolutely. Everybody does. Yeah. Who was it that was doing the Billy Beer? Was that
wasn't that Clinton? Clinton's brother?
Was that his brother Billy?
I think so, yeah.
Billy Beer.
I think that's if I'm remembering correctly. I remember Billy Beer, I remember all that stuff.
I remember that, yeah.
There's always one, so you have to have it.
That's it. And you wonder why, we have one in our family, and it's but he was the most talented, which is the sad thing. And you just wonder what happened.
Yeah. How they fall off the tree.
Yeah. I think sometimes, and there's a book by K. Anders Erickson called Peak, and he's a professor at Florida University. Spent 35 years studying performance and people, and he said that one of the dangers sometimes is getting too much attention and being too good early on, because eventually, as you grow higher up, the talent you have is not as important as the work you put in.
Right.
So that leaves hope for us.
Exactly. So Dennis, we talked about it a lot, and I just looked it up. Billy Beer was Billy Carter, Jimmy Carter's older brother.
Carter, right? Yeah.
So he was the Democrat before him.
Yeah.
So it's Billy Carter, then Reagan, Bush, and then Clinton. So bookends. We spoke about a lot of things. What's next for you? You have Mastermind coming out next. What else is going on?
Well, working on the next book. Right now, I'm working on a podcast. Well, actually, in the basic beginning of setting up a podcast, it's going to be called Dr. Decision and Coach. I'm Coach, and Dr. Decision is Dr. Leo Polizzotti, who is a specialist in decisive decision therapy and other things like that. So we're going to do a podcast on getting people to think about how they make decisions, the fact that everything is a decision. We make 35,000 decisions a day. I think researchers in Cornell said we make like 296 decisions just on food every day.
Wow.
So let's explain why, what's his face? Steve Jobs only wore black, right? No decision.
It's easy decision. It's all the same color, same design probably. So just wear it and go. Yeah.
So it's we're working on the podcast, which we'll be starting in another month or so, which will be fun. and hopefully get some people, it's like you want to get people, you want to give them some positive things to think about so they can maybe grab one little thing and then move forward and use it in their life,
Definitely. I like to say reach one, teach one. So even if only one of the listeners gets something out of it, that's one person that you helped that day on that show. And the next show, you help someone else.
Exactly. It's like almost like paying it forward kind of thing. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It helps everyone involved. So it's awesome. So how will people find out more about that or more about you and maybe get in contact with you to be on your show?
If they just DennisMcCurdy.com. So my name right there, DennisMcCurdy.com. And they can go to my website. They can reach out to me there. They can buy my book there. I also have a weekly written blog that I send out. I've been sending it out for 10 years, one a week on Monday mornings. So if they want to sign up for that, it's short. It's like 2 or 3 minute read, but I get a lot of people who love it. And they can. I will tell you that anybody who reaches out to me, I will answer their questions. I will help them. No questions asked, no problem. I'm happy to do that always.
Awesome. And we always appreciate when our guests put that out there. So hopefully our audience is grasping that and jumps in and reaches out to you for that. Hey, I need a push. Tell me what I need to do. And you're able to give them that help from afar.
I would love that. So hear it out there, guys. Call me.
Call them with real reasons.
Yes.
Dennis, if you could give 3 tips to the audience. We already talked about worrying about other people's thinking and the kisses and get out of your own way. If you give them 3 other things they can think about as they move forward in life.
Yeah, I think you really have to spend time, and this may be helped by having a group or a mentor or a mastermind group, is you really have to know where you're going. Is the famous catcher Yogi Berra said, if you don't know where you're going, you could end up somewhere else.
Exactly.
So you have to know. I mean, it's not going to be perfect. It can change because people get hung up on that, but at least know where you think you want to go. And again, you can adjust it and change. I mean, the world is full of resetting your sails.
Right.
That's number 1. Number 2, realize that, everybody screws up. And if somebody else did it, most likely you can do it. That's really important to do. And, if you screw up, get up.
Outstanding. Great tips, Dennis. And again, thanks for taking some of your time tonight to hang out with us on the Misfit Nation. And I look forward to checking out the new book, Mastermind, The True Secret of Success, when it comes out.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
All right. Have a good one.
You too, bud.
Thanks for checking us out and being a part of the Misfit Nation. Don't forget to visit our website at themisfitnation.com. It's themisfitnation.com to catch up on all of our episodes and also to get some of that great Misfit Nation gear. As always, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling, because we are Fit Nation.